corner. Alright guys, welcome back to our channel. We're here, we're back. Let's see how everything goes with my girlfriend here. Mr. Tyson, thank you so much for showing up. I'm surprised that, like I always say in my videos, it's hard to see you sometimes with this bull run. It's going crazy back and forth and, losing the money.
Bull run, yeah. I mean, it's the way the market's been lately. I've been mostly just crying, crying at home, sobbing, remembering the days when the number was much higher.
It's like you kind of believed in something, and it's just like we try to hold on to it to a certain point. Sometimes we have to collect our gains and just collect them, and it's what I've kind of been doing lately because it's just too crazy.
Dude, it's been a wild time. Like I was surprised by the recent sell-off, to be honest. And I haven't really been surprised by anything for like 3 years, and so I got too accustomed to being kind of right in a way. I've been getting lucky, but like most of my calls have worked out since literally kind of November of 2022 when I got back into the market, beginning of 2023. And so I kind of had forgotten what it was like to like really fucking lose and like be scared and be like, holy fuck, I don't know what's gonna happen. It was like I got hit upside the head with a brick. I think is how Steve Jobs used to say it. So it's like, holy shit, and that's good for you, right? In a way, it's fucking painful to get surprised in the market and see your portfolio go down a lot. But like in a weird way, I'm like super thankful for it. I'm like, holy shit, I haven't like had my like beliefs checked and challenged like that in years. So that said, like probably good to say like where the fuck are we now, right? Because it's just a timestamp right in March of 2025, and so we're in the midst of this like new presidency, bunch of tariffs, bunch of like crazy new ideas with crypto too, though, right? Where like you have for the first time the government is like giving their stamp of approval on Bitcoin with their strategic Bitcoin reserve, which up until now for the whole history of Bitcoin it was always outsider money. So we have all these new like eras beginning. Like we have the government being on board with crypto officially in America. We have a new president. We also are in the post-halving year, and so I think we all have like expectations about what 25 might look like, and they're not necessarily exactly as we expected.
I mean, there's a lot of good things happening. There's a lot of good news back and forth towards the crypto and the markets. I still have my beliefs that everything will get better, but at this point, it's just I can't even change dogs and cats anymore. It's just I'm selling, buying to sell, and it's like the day trading where we kind of believe that most of these coins and most of these nice establishments that they have behind these coins, but they kind of lost like a nice percentage, and I kind of still believed in it. And sometimes you do have to collect your gains and keep it going,
Well, yeah, and I think that was really the big lesson, right, of the whole thing. I like back to that, like with me having my beliefs challenged and losing a lot of money. It's like, well, what's the fucking lesson, right? The lesson is that you need to be selling when everybody else is buying, frankly. So during that whole craze of like the Trump coin and everyone going crazy talking and everyone rushing into the market, you need to be selling a lot during those periods and then buying during these periods that we've been through the last like week or two when everyone's terrified, right? And so the thing that I was really frustrated with myself was I actually considered selling a bunch at the top and then talked myself out of it because I'd said, oh, wait a minute, Donald Trump's the first crypto president, the US government's all on board, like all these things, and I said, man, like I don't think I can sell right here. I think we still have a way to go. I still believe that we will go to new highs, but it'll be probably down towards the end of the year. And so where I was wrong, or where my like kind of vision of how the sequence would play out, is that I kind of thought we would be pretty much like green, kind of sideways and up all the way into like May. From like January to May, I thought that was all going to be super bullish. And the part that caught me by surprise, and a lot of people by surprise, was that we all probably expected that, and so we kind of all were on the wrong side of that thing, and eventually kind of usually happens in markets of what, the majority's expectation is. And so I think there was an interesting expectation amongst the market to see it play out like it did in 2021. And so I started to reflect, well, why didn't it? Why was it different, right? And I think it's kind of obvious, but we all forgot, is it's the monetary policy. It's literally the interest rates, right? So if you remember, yeah, well, interest rates haven't come down yet, right? And so I was listening to this guy, Benjamin Cowan, has this super great technical analysis channel where he does really great analysis of Bitcoin, Ethereum, other coins. The guy's really, really good at all the different monetary factors. And what he explained is that if anybody here is holding Ethereum, right? Most people have Ethereum from last cycle, and it's literally just been getting hurt the whole time. It's just been down, down, down. And so I watched this video from him. He was the same question. He was trying to answer, why is this kind of different? Why is Ethereum not moving? Why are all these coins not moving? And the conclusion was monetary policy. And so what he showed was all this data about how, because interest rates are still so high as compared to previous crypto cycles, you have a significantly less amount of liquidity or money flowing in from many groups, right? Individuals, but also banks and institutions and funds. When the rates are really high, keep in mind they have the ability to go get a free 4 or 5% return on their money in a risk-free bank account because rates are high. So then they take less risk. So they're not betting on leading edge technology stuff. And so what he was showing is it's not only crypto that's been getting beat up. You look at Tesla. Tesla's down 50%. All of these coins. And so what I wanted to share is that there's a common theme amongst all of the stocks and crypto that's getting killed right now. And it's that it's perceived as growth and risk. So it's essentially, these are tech stocks, things that people are betting on, the future, space companies, AI companies.
I've also heard that even people trying to trade forex, it's even difficult for them because back in the day they used to say Sleepy Joe, but just never do anything movement, so the markets will just stay at range. Now it's just so many things happening that it's even hard to trade forex nowadays.
No, forex is probably the first place to be impacted, right? Because so basically, without turning this into a full macroeconomics podcast, because I don't know how many people can handle that, but ultimately, crypto is not separate from the economy. I think, back in 2014, when crypto was this tiny little science project, it didn't have really a lot of impact on crypto if the interest rates moved or if there was a war. It's just this little bubble. But now it's a global asset class that literally the United States government even recognizes as a currency. You've got all of these billions, trillions, I should say, of dollars flowing through it. And so it's just like stocks, it's just like everything else. It's impacted by the global economy. And so the global economy is in a very specific place in the cycle, meaning that, to try to simplify this, is basically the season of high interest rates is coming to an end. They come in seasons, essentially. So we've been in a very high rate season for almost 4 years now. That is unsustainable, and it's normal that you go into high rates and low rates, high rates and low rates over time if you look over history. And so those rates do need to come back down. They've been up high long enough, and there was a reason for having them high. It was to try to prevent inflation from getting out of control. And all that really means is money is expensive, right? So if your rates are high, the cost of getting a loan is expensive, right? And so when that comes down, we're going to see a lot of that money flow into crypto, is what I'm saying. But we're also going to see it flow into stocks, and we're also going to see it flow into real estate. But until you see that, and that's what this guy was saying in the video that really made me think about it, is that until you see a change in monetary policy, meaning that interest rates come down, you're not going to see that big bull market. The good news is that's almost here. That's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
But it's not even oh, it's going to happen. No, it's happening July. For sure. 100%. It's on the schedule. So it's basically, there may be an early cut, they're saying, which I think is wishful thinking, from people who just want to make their bags go up.
Right.
That said, even if it's July, that's not that far away. And so when you think about it, if you're in March, you're basically 3 months away from that. And so what's crazy about the time we're in right now is we're right on the edge of the rates changing, which then changes the whole entire economics, and then you're going to see coins like Ethereum, coins like Solana, XRP, all these coins, but even tiny coins are going to start pumping again, because it's going to be an environment where there's a lot of liquidity moving because the rates are down. People use that as sort of a signal to take risk. If you're a professional investor, you have a boss. Okay, you don't just go buy fucking Pepe. Because, so if you're a professional investor, you have a criteria. You have to really you probably have a 200-page document about everything that you're buying. Why are you buying it? What are the reasons? What are the projections? All of this deep study, right? And so one of the things that every professional investor thinks about is the price of money, which is the interest rate. And so a lot of the big funds that can deploy billions into crypto and will right now are waiting for the Fed, the central bank, to say, hey, rates are down now and we're going to keep them down. But they're all literally sitting there going, tell us when, because we don't play in traffic. They know the rule. Don't fight the Fed, is what they say on Wall Street. So if the Fed is saying rates are up, we're out. We'll take the free money over there on the high yield savings account. But then when they cut the rates, that high yield savings account goes away, because that yield goes up when the rates go up. But when the rates go down, that yield goes down. So your high rate savings account no longer gives you the free 5% when he cuts those rates. So then they push that money into the market because they're not getting the yield anymore over here. Right? And so that's one of the big incentives that a lot of people don't think about. So long story short, one of the reasons, and I took a few notes of what I'm going to talk about, was that that's kind of this cycle that's within the cycle of crypto. So if you're sitting there wondering why have my bags all basically disappeared? Why have I lost so much money? Why are all the numbers down? Right? Isn't it supposed to be a bull market? And to me, the answer to that is that we have not seen a new monetary policy from the central bank since 2022. So if you think about that, back in 2021, when we saw Ethereum go to 4,900 or whatever, we had basically zero interest rates. So we were in the opposite environment of right now. So the rates were very low, money was flowing, loans were cheap. You remember fucking housing bubble that was happening, prices were up through the roof, inflation was crazy. I remember pumping gas in, I think it was Las Vegas, and it was $7 a gallon, which is crazy, and stuff like that where you go, that was the inflation, but the rates, to give you the example, at that time were very, very low, and so people were getting tons of money. But so the markets were high priced, but so was your rent, so was everything. And so now I think they're going to go in the other direction, and rents are going to maybe come down a little bit. They already are a bit, not a lot, a little. You'll see, for example, here in Miami, there's apartment buildings now that are giving away, 2, 3 free months if you sign a lease. If you looked at that in 2021, they were like, fuck you. They were like, you're not getting in here at all. I'm not giving you anything free, and you're paying a 10K deposit for days at the beginning. Because everybody was getting free loans and free money, so they could just not give you an offer. And so the way you could measure it is when the rates are high, you get free months at the apartments because they can't get anybody to fucking come. But when the rates are low, they don't give you any free months. But that's sort of how the economy works. I think it's a good example. It's that depending on the environment, that's going to incentivize people to bet or not. And so I don't believe you're going to see Ethereum break out of its crazy funk, and I don't think you're going to see altcoins in general, small coins, have a big run until the central bank takes their boot off of the throat of the entire economy by saying, okay, we're lowering the rates. And it's a big argument. I'm not the only one coming up with this. If you go online, this is probably the biggest topic. Trump's talking about it, but the bankers are talking about it, traders are talking about it, everyone's talking about it. And it's a huge deal. And basically, the last thing I'll say about it is that what most people think is that Trump is trying to refinance the debt. And it's not that he's trying, he has to. So the debt is expiring here in the next couple of months to some degree, and so basically he has an opportunity to refinance the debt, but it'll be at the rate that the rates are at in that moment, which is in about, let's say, 3 to 6 months from now. And so apparently what I've heard some guys say is that he's trying to crash the markets with these tariffs and with all this instability, because if he can show that the markets are red, he can tell the central bankers that they must lower the rates because the markets are fucked. You gotta lower the rates. And so they're like,
it's gonna get to it though.
but that's what everyone believes, is that he's like, he wants the markets to crash right now so the rates will come down and then he can refinance all that debt at a low rate, as opposed to being the stupid president who was the guy who fucking refinanced it at a high rate. And you know how egotistical the guy is, he does not want to fucking be the guy who was the one who got a bad rate. And so a lot of people think he's just going, fuck you, I'm not going to be the president, because that shit's for 100 years on the record of like who refinanced this fucking debt at this really bad fucking interest rate. Oh, Donald Trump, right? And so like, I don't think he wants that, and I think that he wants to wreck the markets so that he can get the rate cut like sooner, and so he doesn't have to wait even until July. And he's yelling at the central bank on Twitter all the time, going, get those rates down, get those rates down. And he yells at Jerome Powell, the central bank leader, all the time. He goes, cut those rates, cut those rates. Wow.
It's something that's so small to be able to impact the whole world just with just interest rates.
But think about how big interest rates are, though, right? Like, actually, they're small, but they're actually not at all small, because think about it. This is a huge fucking economic lesson. I know last time we talked about, like, market cap. Like, this is another one. Interest rates, I didn't understand this forever, and then I fucking clicked, okay, it's the cost of money. Most people don't think that money has a price. Most people aren't thinking that there is a market for money. So this is a big step. You need to like start to think money has a price, and it's changing all the time. So you can buy money. Buying money, what's buying money? It's called a loan. If you buy money, you're basically taking a loan. Okay? And so at the global market, the whole thing is run by the price of money. If the cost to acquire a dollar goes up, well, that changes all of the dynamics of the system, right? Because now it costs me more to play. It costs me less, or maybe I have less margin to pay my employee, or to pay and it all ends up trickling down for the whole system. And so that's what's crazy, is like these little, you are right that like small changes to the interest rate can make like really big impacts, because imagine you have a construction company and maybe you're getting, each month you're getting a credit line where they give you $100,000 and you're able to go out and lease a tractor and pay your employees and do all this stuff, and then at the end of the month you get paid by the customer and you can go pay off your credit and all this stuff, but you need that 30 days or whatever.
Exactly, you need that
cash.
It's just,
and there's a lot of industries that depend on that.
And then now everything, just the cost goes down.
Yeah, and so then what happens? Well, then that guy, maybe he fires some of his employees. Well, and then those guys, well, guess what? They have people that work for, that do their, they mow their lawn, and then they fire them, and then...
Exactly, it just keeps on going on.
Right? Yeah. And so, like, the price of money is such a big deal, which it's hidden in plain sight, because no one's walking around going, how much does money cost? It even sounds weird to say that, right? But you should start saying it. It's going, how much does this money fucking cost?
Because it's just, it makes total sense. When we're saying about Trump waiting to his go down in order to finance, as far as be able to...
And trying to push them, he's trying to influence them to push them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's pretty amazing. Like, I've read a couple of documentaries, but I really see things like that. It makes total sense.
And so if you think that's where we're at on the sort of the crypto verse, right? We're trying to kind of go through this like eye of the storm or something. It's like there's this sort of kind of area we can kind of navigate through here, but it's really hard to actually navigate up there. Like we have to figure out like rates. We have to figure out, all this other problems with like Ukraine is going on. You got the wars with Russia. You got all these like they're trying to renegotiate all these deals. And so my point is I think it feels like crazy times right now. My belief is that in about July or August, you're going to feel very, very different. That we're going to be through this this kind of eye of the storm and we'll pop out the other side over here and all the new agreements will be in place. I think you might even see the end of Russia-Ukraine war. They're talking about maybe having that settled. And I think we're not all the way to peace and stability, and the markets are reflecting that. Because remember, the markets are a reflection of the people. So like, one thing when you, like anybody listening to this, when you're going out and you're walking around going, oh, my coin is down or my stock is down or up, like, don't think of it that way, that like your stock or your crypto coin is down. Think of the bigger picture of the market and be like, wait a minute, that's a reflection of the planet.
Well, yeah, usually I try to see the sketch of what happened last year, this year. It's still not even making sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but like what I'm saying is like when you look at say one of your individual stocks, think about how it fits into the bigger economy, right? Don't think that like, oh, Tesla, like why is Tesla down? Well, okay, there's some reasons, but then go look at all the other companies just like Tesla, they're also down, right? And so I have guys, like guys come up to me every day and go, oh man, my coin's down, and I'm like, no, all the coins are down. Like, and now let me show you like why. And so like you just have to realize that there's times like this where the whole market is down, and then you want to start to understand which things are down more than others, right? And then you also want to see which things recover faster, right? So if everything goes red, something really interesting to pay attention to is what goes red the least and what comes back green the fastest. That's a clue. And usually those things that come back green the fastest during big red sell-offs are going to lead the way in the next phase of green. And so there's stuff to learn like when you have these terrible sell-offs, because you'll start to see like which ones were tough or which ones were strong even in the sell-off, and you can find some of those, but it's painful watching. So like the temptation is to look away. You'd be like, oh my god, the prices are down, stop looking. I would tell you, do not do that. Look at it. Look at that ugly thing, because you'll learn something, and it'll the information you need to basically be successful in the next phase of your investment journey will come in that painful moment of losing money. But if you don't pay attention because you're like, oh, I don't want to see ugliness, you won't get the lesson.
Well, what I usually do, I buy in red. So lately I've been buying a little bit. Like I still get at least $1,000 a month, and I still keep on throwing, and extra 500 out. Keep on throwing it. And because I buy red because I see the potential of these coins, and they're gonna hit all-time highs once upon a time. So I'm just.
That's the right mindset. It's like, and I think like buying quality, like you have a great mindset. It's like, okay, like if you are buying projects that are real, not some like this silly fucking meme coin that's gonna disappear tomorrow night. But if you're buying like a real project, let's say you're buying, I don't know, Solana, XRP, Bitcoin, even ETH. Like, I don't love ETH, but even that is still a legitimate project. Like anything that's not gonna be like dead, right? Like Dogecoin, any of that, like it's gonna be around. It's not going away. And so like if you are able, even Cardano, as much as I think that's a silly project, but like it's gonna be here. So if you were every month that you get paid just putting in a certain amount of money and not even looking at the price, if you do that for like 2 or 3 years, that's how I got all my crypto. I was never a trader or anything. Every paycheck I would get, I would try to put like 30% of it into crypto for like a couple years. And I just wouldn't look at the price though at all, and I would just buy Bitcoin like in Coinbase, and I would just kind of automate it. It would pull it out of my account like a handful of $100 every week or whatever. And then at the end of like 2 or 3 years, it was way more money than I thought, because it kept growing and compounding. But I wasn't sitting there every day going, oh, did it go up $1 or down or 5? I was just adding.
That's the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
Because it can literally mess up your well-being. Imagine, and you'll be able to do anything when you're just right on top of the market, and it just starts walking to a point where you're like exhausted.
Yeah.
And it could, like mine is the only power of pretty much everything. You gotta have the right mindset, because it's just not for everybody. People come up to me all the time, hey Gio, what's a good coin I should buy? What should I buy? I like recommending people kind of things that I have, but then again, there's not some people I can handle that path of losing money and kind of understand where this is going to be in the next 2 or 3 years. And
your time how long is your time commitment, right? Like, are you clear on your commitment? Because if you're losing your mind right now, you probably have the wrong vision for your timeline. So, you should be thinking about how do you continue to add more money to quality assets. You should be thinking about, this is why crypto actually made me a lot better person, because I got really obsessed with trying to get the money to put in there, and so it motivated me to do business. So instead of just focusing on crypto all the time, think about how can you go out in the world and make more money so you can buy more crypto. That's basically what I thought. Because then I was like, well, if I want to get more coins, well, then I gotta get more money to buy the coins. Well, then how do I get more money? Well, you probably have to start a business. You need to write a book, create a fucking course. I don't know, do something.
I have a good friend of mine that a couple years ago, he got, I think it was like a $50,000 loan, and he got the whole 50K, put it all in crypto, and he kept like 40K, and he was like, gee, I'm just going all in, I'm gonna just do it, I don't care.
When was this?
This was probably like 2.5 years ago.
What year was that? 22 or
Yeah,
what?
I think I was 21, like at the end of 21.
Hopefully he did it when it was not the top.
Yeah, and then he did it, it
Did
went
it
up.
go well?
Huh?
Did you do good with it?
He did amazing.
Really?
But he sold like in 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, he says, he put it in Geo, I saw my 15% up, I collected, I paid my loan, and I kept a certain amount of money. I was like, some people have the different mindset, back into,
I mean, he also was taking a loan, I guess, which is kind of...
So it was pretty, he was very, quiet, so... But it's just,
I mean, honestly, dude, there's really one question everyone should ask themselves is, are you a trader or are you an investor? I was reading from a guy that I learned a lot from the other day. He wrote an article about that where he's like, I've been guilty of this. The reason I'll admit this is, I've kind of fucked myself up over the last, few weeks because I kind of confused myself on that idea where I was trying to be both. Unconsciously, I was being an investor and a trader at the same time. And so, if you're an investor, you're long term, right? So you're saying, hey, I believe in Bitcoin for the next 20, 30 years, and beyond. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, every time I get my paycheck, I'm going to put 10% in Bitcoin or whatever. That's an investor's mindset. You're just over the long term, you're going to hold it, you don't care about the price. But a trader
is more taking advantage of the system. What the system is doing. And that's where I'm more.
What, trading?
Yeah, because for example...
but just to clarify for people who don't know the difference,
right.
A trader is strategically entering in at a price point, right? And they're literally only holding it to make money. So they're selling it at a higher price in order to make a margin. An investor is looking at the technology. They're going, ooh, I think this has a future. I think this could. They're probably going to put money towards it for 5 years, right? A trader might hold something for 5 minutes. It doesn't have anything to do with all that stuff. It's just, can I make money off of it?
Yeah, there's
get in, get out.
There's get in and get out.
That's what trading really is. And so my point is, you can do both, but don't confuse yourself to think that you're doing trading when you're doing investing, or that you're doing investing when you're doing trading. Make sure you are clear when you enter into a position. Am I doing this as a long-term investment, or am I doing this as a trade? Because a lot of times, I'm guilty of this. I won't be clear with myself. Is this a long-term hold, or is this a trade? And then I'll end up confusing myself and holding it for too long, or maybe not selling it because I confused myself that it was an investment when it was probably just a trade. Right? And so you just have to kind of, before you buy a token, ask yourself, is this a trade? Are you just trying to sell it when it goes up 15%? Or is this something that you think is going to 20x over the 10-year horizon, and you're just going to be putting money in it?
I think that's the right mindset of seeing things.
Ask the question at least.
Exactly.
Because a lot of these things, it's not even anything more than just being aware. It's not that you're not going to go and make a mistake still, or you're not going to go buy something or sell something, but at least as you're doing it, you're why am I buying this? What is the reasoning for this? And then when am I going to sell? So the same guy was saying, when you buy something, you need to justify it right at that moment. When will you sell it? So instead of deciding you're going to sell it later, literally, if you're trading and you enter into a new coin, you should literally just say, this targeted, right? Like you have a target for selling it, and then when you like hit those targets, you can execute it. But if you just like let it go up and go up and go up, which is what I did, and just say, oh, good, it's going up, like, but not having a specific target of like taking the profit at that level. My targets were way higher, but is that you eventually just get lazy and let it ride, and then the price goes down, and you never sold, and so you didn't really actually make any money. You just
I try to have a couple different profiles. On my stock profile, I've been having it for years. I have another profile just for bonds. I have my crypto, and then I have another profile where I do my trading. I've been seeing a lot more profits nowadays in trading. For example, Tesla dropped to like 50%, 40%. I shorted it. I did a long for 1 month. Shorted it. Got my couple $1,000.
you shorted it on the way down?
I shorted it.
How did you know? What was your read?
Well, as far as I go, I only saw it every day dropping 50%, 50% for 3 days straight. I was in the sense of the drop.
Oh, okay.
I read a couple of pictures and all this other stuff that's going on around the world, and they said anywhere was going to drop. And they dropped drastically.
Nice,
The call was.
I've literally never done a short before.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do it.
The put was for $1,200, which that's what it like did for a month. And bro, I did probably like about nice. About like 8K.
Fuck yeah. That's a
But,
great trade, bro.
But you see, that's
What a great lesson.
You gotta be on top of everything, you know.
Well, here's what I think the lesson is that sometimes, and I do this too, I'm bad at this, is I forget that you can make money in any market, right? You don't need the fucking prices to go up to make money. You can be making money in any market. Like, you can do what he did and short. If you think things are going south, you fucking short it. And so that's what's so cool about the market, and what I realized during this last downturn is like, I want to get a lot better at trading, right? So I'm going to invest in a trading school. Like, I'm going to go to an online trading school. There's a guy who runs one that's really cool, and I'm going to do it. It's like $150 a month. And I'm going to study the techniques to actually be able to short and to actually be able to buy options and actually do all the like different things. Because like to his point, if you know how to use the tools of the market, you know how to do a short, you know how to buy options, you know how to do, there's a million things you can do. You can make money in any market. It doesn't have to be.
Right. So that's
I'm not that guy yet.
You know, some people will be like, oh my
I'm
God,
an investor.
You know, so it goes back to the question. Are you an investor?
I've only been successful as an investor. I've been trying my hand in trading and not doing very well the last couple months. And I've had a couple times when I've gotten lucky, but this last month and a half has been very unlucky.
Well, you know, we got good days, we got bad days.
We do, but I'm just saying, it's like it was a big wake-up call to me where I was like, wait, I don't actually know what the fuck I'm doing when it comes to trading. I do know what I'm doing when it comes to investing. Like, I don't know how to read charts reliably, right? Like, I can look at it and go, oh, okay, maybe this is risky, but like,
I feel like if you know already, you're a massive, you had a teacher in crypto, if you already know how to read those sketches within a long period of time, it's kind of like a slower version of the stocks.
yeah.
So if you know how to read that, it's just, you know, every time
I just need to learn the actual, like, skill. Like, I need to go into, where do you do yours at, like, E-Trade? But where do you do your trading?
Schwab.
So I need to go into Schwab and actually execute an order with you or show, like, do it, because I've never done it.
Every day before 4 p.m., when the market closes at 4, we could do anything before. We could do something for a long, for a short. Let's say a call costs.
I just want to practice for like $5.
Let's say, yeah, you could even start with I think the call you can put a call from 5 to 10, 25.
Yeah, I'll throw like $500 in there and build. Like, I need to literally learn how to do, like, I'm not talking about advanced strategy. I'm saying, like, I literally need to go in there and be like, all right, cool, let me buy an option.
You will be super great at that, because you're on top of the market, you're on top of everything that's going on in the world, which is a good thing and a bad thing, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? So, 100%, my big lesson from, and it was a good friend of mine when I was all depressed about this stuff, I was talking to him, and he's like, he's a professional gambler, he's like, won and lost many millions of dollars, and he's won more than he's lost, but he's had some really tough times, and some good advice about losing, and he was like, listen, don't spend too much time reflecting on the loss, don't overthink it, but make sure you take action to do something about it, and then you won't feel so bad. And he was like, let it hurt for a little bit, but that's it. And move on and say, okay, I'm gonna take action to like improve and take action on this sort of tragedy. And what I took from that was like, okay, I'm gonna go fucking learn to actually be good at trading. So I'm gonna go study all that stuff about options and study those things so that I'm in the future, when I'm in that situation again, I'm better at reading the charts and executing a trade. So I think as long as you let your hard times push you to learn and like take action from what happened, then I think it's fine. If you don't learn at all, then it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, one of my first as far as apps or websites I have to go is TradingView. I recommend everybody get a TradingView. I think it's like $20 to $30 a month, and it's the best way to kind of see a chart. You can see exactly what's going on. Some people just buy things to buy things. When you're a trader, you gotta start actually looking at it. They call it put it because it's gonna go up and down. Obviously with Tesla, this didn't happen last year or the year before. It's just I only had a good same as and a half. So I took advantage of it, and I wish I would have put it earlier, but I didn't, and because it was just not them doing that, it was just the whole market.
Yeah.
It was money.
Yeah.
So I didn't reflect just on the company because it's an amazing company, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take advantage of this fall. And so
It's still going down right now?
it's gonna start going up by this week.
Well, so watch Tesla because it's not a coincidence that Tesla and Solana are both down. They're in a similar category of risk in the mind of a professional investor. Like obviously Tesla's a much different, less risky in a way, but something like a Solana, they also perceive it as fancy tech, fancy new tech thing to bet on. Tesla, fancy new tech thing.
I'll say maybe like in the
They're all gonna go up together. Is my point.
Yeah, in a few weeks I'm gonna put another. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put it off.
Right now you should probably already, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it now for Monday, Tuesday, probably for like a month.
Yeah.
That's it. Easy, sitting down, easy. And this Tesla has so much good things towards it. Like I know so many good things, and it's gonna go up. It's just I do believe in Tesla.
That's the one thing I've said to my friend the other day. I was like, if someone told me that I had to put all my money into one thing and then like go into a coma for like 10 years and come back out and be confident that it would somehow still be there, it would be Tesla. Not even close. Like their future plans are fucking silly. Like they have the generators, they have the fucking Optimus, like whatever robots. They have obviously like the cars. They have the solar panels.
They launched a rocket the other day.
Yeah, I mean that's the SpaceX, but still, I think it impacts Tesla. They're not the same company, but they are.
But it's so much things good that are behind that.
Yeah. The whole fucking it's insane. Like, how could that possibly be worth less money in the future? So, like, when you're buying something as an investor, which is the only thing I'm actually good at, someday I'm gonna be a trader, is you basically have to say to yourself, what's gonna be worth a lot more in the future? And then you gotta buy that thing at the present moment. It sounds simple, but it's hard to do.
I know friends have put
Tesla's gonna be valuable in the future
for like a year or 2 years, and it's just chill and relax. I have friends that do longs, and just I have this power put for 1 year, and they can send it anything intended on it. Maybe for shorter, for more, depending on where we got it at. But yeah, man, one day we'll sit down and
yeah, let's do that this week, and we'll report back on it. We're gonna put go buy some Tesla. Tesla calls.
Well, my brother, I do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I know you definitely gotta go pretty soon.
Yeah, man, it's great. We'll check back in. It's gonna be a big week. Thanks, buddy.
I appreciate it, guys. Like and subscribe.